Hello and welcome to the first ever and pilot episode of the Recon cast. First and foremost, this intro is going to be a long one, as there's lots of housekeeping to do, so buckle up. The plan is for the Recon cast to become a weekly podcast based on all sorts of things, be it games, TV, films, popular culture, zombies, basically whatever we think would be fun to talk about. However, as this is predominantly a gaming channel, there will always be an uneven slant towards video games. So, who is joining me on this little escapade? Well, I managed to rope in my two sisters V and Lou, who both play games on a regular basis and would also probably class themselves as core gamers, although you should probably ask them how they would identify themselves. V or Vanessa will be a regular feature in most if not all episodes, whereas we hope Lou to be available for the majority of the times we record, but we'll have to see how it all pans out. For the time being, there will be different game footage in the background each week, as well as Metal Gear Codec inspired pics of our ugly mugs on screen. So, how is all this going to work? Well, we're going to record the podcast all in one go, usually on a Thursday. And within the podcast, we're going to have 4 topics which I'm going to post individually throughout the week on YouTube. Topic 1 will probably be on a Friday and will be based on a recap of some of the week's gaming news so far. That is, whatever news takes my fancy and or any other points of interest in popular culture or cool stuff we find interesting that we can fit into a single segment. Then we will skip the weekend and post the other topics that aren't time sensitive on Monday through Wednesday. And finally, a compilation of the podcast uncut on the Thursday, so as there's vids every day of the working week. Topic 2 will be my topic, topic 3 will be V or Lou's, and we hope topic 3 will become your topic. So hit me up with your topic ideas in the comments or on Twitter, which admittedly I'm pretty rubbish on and have no real idea on how to use, but anyway, send me some tweets and I'll try and get better and learn. No promises, but I'm game to try. And as well as getting name checked, your topic could feature on this podcast as topic 4. However, if there are no viewer topics in the bank or that I want to use that week, I'll just make one up. If the way in which this content is divided up and posted on YouTube seems familiar to you, that's because the whole idea to do a podcast was inspired by the channel Kinda Funny. So shout out to them. Not that they need it from me, mind. But anywho, in my humble opinion, their shows are the epitome of how to do a podcast on YouTube. So you can either thank them or hate on them for being the inspiration for this here little podcast, depending on whether you like it or not. Aside from the inspiration discussed, the motivation to try this is as I want to switch up the sort of stuff I'm doing here on my channel. And for a while now, I have wanted to focus on doing more long-form content with higher production values, like fan film-esque projects or multimedia stories, mostly based on video games. I don't want to go into that stuff too much, as I feel like I keep promising to make vids like this and never get round to it, but I am working on some stuff, so instead I'll talk about it when it's actually imminent. But to that point, this sort of stuff takes time, a lot of time. So I needed something that wouldn't take forever to make and that would give me regular content throughout the week that is hopefully interesting. And a topic-based podcast seems like a perfect fit for this. Don't worry, there'll still be Let's Plays and things like top 10 retro games or vids about COD zombie wonder weapons and so on, but that sort of stuff will be as and when I'm in between projects or it just seems right, like a new game launching or it's on my mind or in the zeitgeist and whatnot. Please keep in mind this is all a work in progress and I will be looking to improve these vids in the future, so if there are any audio or technical issues over the coming weeks, giving us a pass would be appreciated. To that end, if you have any constructive, I repeat constructive criticism of things you both do and do not like about the production of these videos, hit me up in the comments with your feedback. It could help to dial in what works and what doesn't for future episodes. Righto, finally got through it. Don't say I didn't warn you that it was going to be a long one. Anywho, I think that's everything covered, so without any further ado, let's actually get into it and do it to it. Okay, so into topic 1. Topic 1 is going to be a gaming news recap of the week of things that we find interesting. So it's going to be sort of like quick fire. So we're just going to go through a few things. So Nintendo's first smartphone game is being released in the US. And I thought we'd also talk about Pokemon Go, augmented reality. The Japanese beta is being released soon. So, yeah. So does anybody have any thoughts about that or whatever? Like, does anybody care that, you know,
I think
there's going to be a
cool.
Nintendo smartphone game?
I have a question. Is Pokemon Go the one where you are looking at the real world and Pokemon appear?
Yeah, that's it. It's that augmented reality one where, like, you're, I don't know, walking the dog in a field and then suddenly Bulbasaur pops up and...
I think that'd be awesome.
You know.
I think it's great. There's a hitch, if what I've heard is true, in that to get the legendaries, you have to go to interesting places, big cities.
Really?
Is that correct? From what I've heard, they've made it so that every major city has a legendary living in it, or places of interest.
Yeah, I was wondering how all that would work as well, because, like, how is it going to know that a Bulbasaur should be in a field
and
not like a
GPS.
sand shrew?
Yeah.
As far as I know.
But how does it know somewhere's a field unless they've, like, looked on Google Earth or something?
Can you not remember what they did with was it Google Maps? Can you not remember what they did with that?
What's that?
Like it was a couple of years ago now that you used to be able to walk around and stuff. Like I was walking at my street, like going to the shop and stuff, and I could search for the
that game's made by the same people. I think it might be DNA or something. I can't remember, but it's made by the same developers. It's the people who are making Pokemon Go made that game that you're talking about.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think it's called like Geo something or whatever.
So I'm going to guess it's just going to be the same principle as that, really.
But
I wonder how long it's going to be until someone gets run over, though, like fucking trying to get a legendary Mew or something.
It makes me wonder about the Pokemon mentality as well, because this sounds like a game for the uber rich. Because the Pokemon motto is "Gotta catch 'em all," and you play the game. That's what you strive for. Can you afford to travel all over the world, filling your Pokédex?
You can't imagine it'd be like that. Like Mew's only in like America or
that's what
Dubai
I heard.
or something.
I don't know too much about it, but I think that's what they suggested in the beginning.
Well, that would be crazy. I mean, we're gonna find out soon enough because you know the beta is gonna be released in Japan, so the news will be getting launched, or it's rumored to be being released in Japan. It probably will be, but like, are you gonna? I think it's I'm not sure about this, but I think it's gonna be free to play or whatever. So, as someone who plays the Pokemon games, I don't really play them. The last one I probably played was that GameCube one, the 3D GameCube one. But you play Pokemon regularly, so are you going to download it and have a go with it?
Not particularly. I don't know.
No.
I'm sure people will love it. Some people will love it, but there's no story base to go behind it. So I wonder how long the lifespan is. And if you really do have to travel a long ways, it's soon going to get old for some people.
I've got a feeling it won't be that. I think it'll be like you were saying, like the legendaries, you'll have to go to like a special Pokemon event. You know, like how they have like Magic the Gathering events or something. I think it'll be like that where, you know, you'll have to go to this special event, you'll run your phone through a fucking IR code or something and then get, you know, Mewtwo or fucking...
Oh, they used to do that, you know where I used to work? You used to be able to, like, link into the Wi-Fi, and you used to be able to get, like, a legend, like a specific Pokemon, didn't you?
Yeah,
that's what I'm...
That's simple.
Maybe it'll be like that.
If you go into your local high street to get it, or what have you, I don't know. Only time
there will
tell.
Be some that are at special events, though. I think you're right about that. You'll have to go off to like the nearest big city and some special Pokemon event.
But yeah, I literally heard that each big city all over the world will have a legendary programmed into it.
That doesn't sound like a great idea.
You're going to be sending your phones on holiday with people?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe you could just ship someone a SIM card. Maybe someone will be smart and run a little business and do you know what I mean? Because you think about it, let's say they take 10,000 SIM cards, everybody pays them a bit of money, they get free holidays. They just jet around the world, picking up all these fucking Pokemon.
I actually discussed this with someone.
You would actually be a Pokemon trainer. I think we've just capitalised on something. I now hope that they do this, because that's the life I want to live.
Maybe you should edit that, because everybody's gonna latch onto our grand scheme.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I didn't. I'll cut that out so no one will know about it. Yeah. If only. You would actually be a genuine like Pokemon trainer traveling the world collecting them all. That would actually be pretty cool.
How long do you think the thrill will last when you're up to the 37th time that you've chased after Deoxys?
Yeah, that's true. But if you're getting paid out the wazoo for it, and you're getting like to live the fucking jet-setting lifestyle, I don't think you care.
I suspect there's an embarrassment factor too if you have to run around in public chasing after a Pokemon.
If you're a grown-up and you have to fucking, like waggle your fucking phone to, because it's escaping from its ball or whatever, and you haven't got a master ball or whatever. Yeah, you would feel like a right plonker, wouldn't you?
Possibly.
But yeah. I don't suppose anybody cares about the Nintendo game or whatever. It's like a Mii game, like the Mii from the Wii, and it's like a weird question-based game where you sort of ask each other like cool questions, and then everybody votes on it or something.
That sounds riveting.
Yeah.
Sounds
who
like
knows? It might be a little
grasp at straws now, like trying to make some bad attempts.
It's just that it's their first entry into the market. I think they're trying to go in with like a soft impact instead of just, going on full on into it. So
they haven't really got like, they've kind of died out. Surely you'd want to spend time and make something epic instead of like some lame Mii game. Personally speaking, anyway, like.
They have the license for so many interesting characters. They could surely use something that's great.
They've got amazing
Mario,
IP when you think
Zelda,
about it.
Or God knows what.
Metroid, whoever,
Yeah, something that they're famous for.
I think they'll get to that, but I don't think it'll be like a full-on experience or whatever.
But the Mii's, they were really entertaining for about 4 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, they were fun for a second there, but that's the Wii all over, isn't it? It was fun for a minute, and then it was like, collects dust ever since, doesn't it?
That's right.
Pretty much.
But, yeah. Anywho, let's go on to the next one. Oculus launched this week, the Oculus Rift. So, what are people's thoughts on VR as a whole, and Oculus and whatnot? So, because there's 3 out there at the moment. There's the HTC Vive, that's not out. That's going to be out soon. There's the Oculus, which got launched this week, and then towards the end of the year, the PlayStation Move is also VR is also coming out. Previously, the Morpheus, whatever you want to call it. So, does anybody? What are people's thoughts on VR? Do you know what I mean?
I think it's the same as anything. Probably in a couple of years, it's really going to be worth being interested in. But launch titles tend to be a little lame.
Yeah. Actually, the weird thing about this is it seems to have quite a strong launch, like compared to a normal console generation. Because you think about the PS4, the launch was rubbish, and to be fair, it's arguable whether there's a killer app now. Do you know what I mean? Let alone, like year 1 or year 2 or whatever. So,
have you heard of any launch titles for them?
There's I've heard of
some kind of demo.
Yeah, it's it depends which one you go with. The Oculuses come out with like a Spyro-esque Conker sort of game with this weird little squirrel thing or whatever, and Eve Valkyrie, which is like a space dogfighting game, which looks really cool, but I guarantee you would make me sick. So
I can see that being a big problem for the
and you'd imagine they're all going to come with some
visually impaired.
That is the problem. Like I would, I don't know how much you guys like suffer from motion sickness, like as much as I do, but it like really affects me. Like first person shooters, like even like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Like even that can make me sick sometimes if the sensitivity is too high or whatever. So
I'm better if I'm physically like playing the game. So I can imagine that I think I'd be alright. I tend to have to like kind of train my eyes for it, like take breaks and like kind of wet myself like up and stuff. Watching someone else play Call of Duty, I'm a mess. Can't deal with it.
Yeah, it's even worse when you're watching someone.
It's terrible.
Doing it.
It's terrible.
So I like that dogfighting game for me just wouldn't work. That's my trepidation about VR. Is I think it looks really cool and I'd be interested in it. It's a bit pricey at the moment. I'd definitely wait till it drops. But am I just buying like a sick box because you know I'm gonna like fucking watch all these games and play all this stuff, but after about 20 minutes it's gonna make me sick. What, you know, why am I gonna spend £350 on that? You know,
I can't help but be cautious whether it's just going to be like something that's going to be amazing when it first comes out and then just die off and just be one of them things that are forgotten and people aren't really
like
about. Yeah, pretty much another way.
PlayStation Move.
How far can they get with it? How can they keep bettering themselves with it? I mean, I know technology would be better, but
I think given time, it will be fantastic. I still don't know if it's for me.
I think the argument is, though, with those sort of things, is they were gimmicks, and this is genuinely supposed to be like really good. Like, I don't know, I've not used it. I don't think either of you two have you?
No.
No. So like, people say that it's like really an amazing experience or whatever, and you have to try it to like believe in it. But even then, like for me, because I get sick, you know, maybe I'm part of like a small 5% minority or whatever. Maybe we all are. But I still don't know if I'd be willing to pony up the cash on something that I just don't know whether it's... Not only do I not know whether it's going to be good, but I don't know whether it's just going to make me sick all the time.
I wouldn't spend £350 on it. No.
Or however much I like a good horror game as well. And I can't see me playing that right next to my eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be stuck on the Squirrel Nutkin game.
Yeah. Could you imagine PT or whatever?
Terrified.
In VR, you'd be shitting your pants. I'm not the best with, like, I'm not like Vanessa, where she poos herself with Until Dawn, but like...
That is a scary fucking game.
Yeah, probably, but...
You haven't played it yet, you can't even judge.
Yeah, not yet, but I've seen it. I'll play it soon. So.
Yeah, whatever.
That's cool.
We'll see he's like crying like a baby at the end of it.
No, I'll be fine. I'll be golden. On the same topic, onto the next thing, PlayStation VR could be supported by PC. So that's an interesting move, like for PlayStation possibly. My thought on this is that they won't do it out of the gate, but if PlayStation's sort of failing for them or whatever, it's not hitting the numbers they want and it's doing like the PlayStation Vita or the PlayStation Move, you know, and sort of dwindling, if they then open it up to PC and let all their third parties be played on PC, suddenly... like, that gives a lot more, you know, possibilities. Yeah, because it takes all those PC guys who've got to pay $800, I think it is, for a Vive, or $600 for the Oculus, and that's without the handled touch thingies. Yeah, whereas they could pick it up for like $350 or whatever and put it on their PCs, which it would probably be less demanding because you know, if a PC can run it, I mean, if a PlayStation 4 can run it, your PC is probably going to be able to. So, you know, like you say, that's a whole new demographic that it could hit. So that could be a shrewd move on their part. So
it doesn't seem like the other companies will take kindly to that, being less than half the price. Yeah,
they probably won't. But the only one that really has any impact in gaming is the HTC one, because that's being backed by Steam. So I don't know if it's being paid for by Steam. I think it's just being developed by HTC. But so yeah, they might not take kindly to it, you know, seeing as they're the masters of PC gaming or whatever. So.
It'll come down to quality then, though, won't it?
Yeah, well, quality or price, you know. It's like we were saying, we wouldn't pay £350 for. I think it's $400 US for the PlayStation VR. Would you pay fucking $800 for the HTC Vive? Even if it's better, even if it's a lot better, would you pay that?
No.
No.
Standard.
Like, I mean, it'll drop over time, but it'll drop to what? Eventually $500? That's still, like, you know, what, £400 or whatever, you know?
It's all very exciting and everything, but I think with some things I like to take a back seat and let the other people play guinea pig for a while.
Yeah.
Let other people decide if it's fantastic or not, and then I'll
let the early adopters pay the crazy money. I never buy anything like year one. If I was rolling in the money, I probably would, but you know, I always wait at least a year personally. So Right, on to next couple of things. One of them is like there's this amazing article on Kotaku. Well, it's not amazing the article, but the pictures are amazing. Basically, in the Unreal Engine or whatever, they're using the same sort of technology they're using in the new Star Wars Battlefront game, and they've done these like amazing photorealistic pictures. When you look at them, it's like hard to like believe or whatever, but they actually look real. Like there's like this one where there's like leaves on the ground and there's like snow on it and stuff. It looks completely real. So maybe, you know, photorealistic games could be, you know, a thing sooner than people might think or whatever. So that's pretty cool. But then again, it's whether you've got the hardware to run it. So that's pretty cool. And then the next one is... Sorry, carry on.
I'm sorry. I was saying there's a little bit of an element of that in a lot of the horror games at the moment, isn't there? The PT, for example, that came out, and the Allison Road. They're like super realistic looking. Makes it scarier.
Yeah, they focus on, you know, the quality and the detail and all the, you know, things that are going on and stuff. Like, you know, how there's like paraphernalia on like a desktop or something as opposed to it just being blank and stuff. The graphics are pretty good. The next one I thought was... You're not happy with what? PT?
I'm not happy with like games becoming more real. I can't handle them now. Like, they're scary. What is it going to be like?
Yeah, well, you don't have to play the scary ones, do you?
But they're fun.
It's true. It's about immersion, though, I think. I think that's what everything's moving towards, is as realistic as it can possibly be. Whether people's hearts can take it is another matter.
Not necessarily realism. I think what you're saying is correct. Immersion. Yes. Like, you take No Man's Sky or whatever, that doesn't look realistic, does it? But it's going to be like an immersive experience. Like, how long that'll last, how great that'll be for how long, who knows? But it's going to be like immersive. I think that's, you know, right. That's what everybody's moving towards, this like immersion sort of thing. So you feel like you're in that world or whatever. So yeah. So the next one I thought was just like a funny little story. About how this 16-year-old hacker sneaks into Steam, like through the back doors or whatever. He's like a white hat hacker, which means, like, you know, they expose instabilities and stuff on purpose, so, you know, to help the companies to a degree or whatever. Yeah, but he snuck onto Steam, not through the green light process, but like through all these back doors or whatever, and he uploaded a paint drying game. That's like, basically you watch paint drying for 45 minutes and that's it or whatever. I don't know if it was free or it was being charged for. He didn't make any profit off it. He didn't get any money off it. But I don't know whether that money sat in like escrow somewhere or whatever.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I just thought...
Can you still get it? That sounds like my kind of game.
I think they pulled it down. But yeah, I think that's just a really good statement to Steam about, you know, get your fucking house in order, because it's a mess over there, particularly with Greenlight and stuff like that. Like, the amount of shitty games that can be up there. They don't really focus on quality control, which can be a bit of an issue. So
I mean, like, 16-year-olds can be like quite clever and shit these days, but for a kid to do that is mental.
I read up on it. It's like I think he's a bit of a kid genius, because at 14 he did like night classes so he could enroll at university at 16 or whatever. So I think he's a bit of a fucking boy genius. But yeah, nonetheless,
I'm impressed.
I thought it's a pretty cool story or whatever. And then lastly, Final Fantasy 15 or whatever, the release date is the 30th of September. This all got released, I think it's last night in a stream or whatever. Final Fantasy Uncovered or something, I think it was called. The new demo is out, which I played, which I thought was pretty cool. There's no pre-order required, so you can just download it as long as you're on console. I don't think it's coming to PC or Steam or whatever, the demo. So you can download it for free or whatever. You don't need to pre-order anything. There's going to be an anime, and there's going to be a CGI movie by the same guys that made Advent Children. And it's going to be based around the main character. I think he's called Noctis or something.
That's right.
And how his dad lost the kingdom. One of the mini games from Final Fantasy 15 will be available not only in-game but on mobile as well, and it's going to be like some sort of pinball-esque weird fighty summon game thing. So I think that's pretty cool to a degree, because being able to play it in-game, and if it remembers stuff, and then you can take that, you know, like you're saying, to work or whatever, play it in your lunch break and then somehow transfer it back to your PlayStation 4, that would be pretty cool.
They've done things like that before on a very much smaller scale.
Yeah,
the old one,
didn't they do something with Chocobos or something?
Chocobo World, and it was a little bit like the Pokemon game too, the Poke Walker.
Yeah.
But it's quite neat if you can. I mean, if you're obsessed with a brand new game, you want to take it to work with you where you bored out your skull and still feel like you're making progress.
Well,
it's a great thing.
Let's be real. You don't want to go to work. You want to play the fucking game, you know. But if you can play some of that game at work, you know, best of both worlds, isn't it? So,
absolutely.
you know, you're not getting fired and you can play some of it. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I played the demo. You're downloading it, aren't you, Lou?
I have it downloaded. I shall have a bash soon.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I've played the other one, the free...
Yeah,
demo.
I didn't play that one, so I don't know what was in that one, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's not very long. It's maybe like 45 minutes tops or whatever. Even if you take a minute to have a little look-see around or whatever, it's probably like pretty quick. But I thought it was pretty good. The impressions I got from it, which is what I thought I was going to get from it, is it's kind of a grown-up Kingdom Hearts, which is no bad thing. But not necessarily what I personally want from a Final Fantasy. I'm more old school. I would have loved the turn-based, but I'm okay with it because Kingdom Hearts is good. So I'm more hyped now that I played this demo than I was before. So I'll wait and see. I'll buy it, I reckon, and like definitely play through it and give it a go. So I thought it was pretty cool overall. But yeah, that's available for everybody to play or whatever. So
I'll be looking forward to the movie, most definitely. I loved Advent Children. Absolutely love that.
I don't know how much you'll need to know that, you know, beforehand, like whether you can literally just pick it up from nowhere, because I think what they're doing is playing it like it's a prequel, so you can just pick it up. You don't need to know anything about the game or whatever.
Well, that'd be cool. It's going to like appeal to more people that way, isn't it?
Well, it sounds
like
it's
going to have some famous actors in it as well. It's going to have Sean Bean in it.
He gets everywhere, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was in one of the Silent Hills, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, he was. He was in the first one, wasn't he? He was the dad.
It's also got another woman from Game of Thrones in it. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I know people will probably lambast me for that, but yeah, I don't. It's the woman from that. She was also in that Terminator thing, I think, and she was in 300. I think it's that woman. Do you know what I'm on about?
Daenerys, yeah.
Yeah, she's a voice in it as well, and it's also got I always forget his name. I think it's Summit Pinkerman or whatever. The dude from now I can't even remember the show. What's the show about methamphetamine?
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's got the
Jesse
younger
Pinkman.
dude from that's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know why I had a brain fart there, but he's going to be in it as well. I think he's the main character, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool news. That pretty much wraps up the weekly news thing. So we'll leave that there and we'll go on to the next topic. So let's get into topic 2, and I thought we should start, you know, how we mean to go on. So the zombie apocalypse will be in your street within 12 hours. Yeah, pick a weapon, some armor or clothing, a sentimental item, a person to help you survive that you can actually get access to within 12 hours and it exists. And all these things must be like realistic and that you could actually get your hands on them or whatever.
Hypothetically, if it actually happened.
So yeah, because you know we normally talk about like end game fucking zombie stuff where like I'll get on a space station, or you know I'll be on an island or a fucking submarine or whatever. Yeah, but I thought let's make it a little bit more realistic, like it is in some films or whatever, where you know you don't have that time to react. You've got like 12 hours tops. Like it's, you know, it's in London. It's not here yet, but it's going to be soon or whatever.
Okay.
So what are the things that you could realistically grab within a short period of time?
I'm quite tired. Can we fit in a nap?
Fit in a nap between what?
Oh, between now and the 12 hours. You could easily have 4. Squeeze 4 in.
Well, you could. The things that I could get in that time period would be really short.
My first question, though, is are we the only ones who know about it, or is this like a global thing?
No, how would we know about it?
Oh yeah, we're being realistic, aren't we?
Yeah, how would we know about it?
We would see a news report and recognise it for what it is.
That's the only way we could possibly know about it.
Okay.
So it's like all those reports about how those people are getting on like crocodile and shit, and then you'd hear about like cops shooting these fucking crackheads like
I've heard
a bunch of times.
That.
And then them not going down, or like I think one of them was like caught eating a hobo because he was like off his face or whatever.
Yeah, they start
really
like
bad stuff.
Mm.
So, but like stuff like that, if you started hearing like loads about things like that, then you might get a bit switched on before everybody else. So, But yeah, I figured I'll start or whatever if you want. For a weapon, right? I've got a crossbow or whatever, which is pretty cool and everything. But when you think about it in practical terms, I could maybe fire 3 or 4 bolts a minute tops with it, yeah? Because it's quite, even though the pull weight's not crazy, it still takes a second. It's not like user friendly, and the safety is a bit weird, and it's a bit prone to misfires if you're not careful. So although it seems like, oh yeah, that's the cool thing, like in Daryl in The Walking Dead shooting his fucking, you know, things off and that, but it has ammo, which is also a problem. So I could go with that, and that seems like a cool idea. But I've also got like a machete, and that would be a much better idea. You don't need to reload it. I'm not going to have any problems with it being faulty, you know. So I think practically as well, like if I got rushed by any more than like 2 zombies, or you know, even 3 or 4, if they've got like, if they're like more than, you know, a minute away, I might be all right. But if they're within that time period, I'm going to get swamped or whatever. So I would go with my machete, which I think is pretty cool. I could crack some skulls with that. Next, in terms of armor or clothing, unfortunately, I don't have any armor. I don't have any fucking Kevlar or anything. So, but there is, I think Lou left over. There's some fucking biker leathers in the wardrobe, only like a meter away from me or something, meter and a half away. Are
you really gonna get in the clothes that Lou got into though?
In the zombie apocalypse, I think I'm not gonna worry about it. If you take The Walking Dead, they're willing to cover themselves in fucking zombie guts. Yeah, I think if they're willing to do that, I can get into some. I mean, they're not like girls' leather trousers. They're like proper, like regular, generic unisex trousers or whatever. Okay. Yeah? It's not like some tight leather pants I'm wearing. Slapping my ass as I go.
No, it wouldn't be the first
need
time, would it?
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, no need to cut the butt cheeks out.
Well, that's not tactical, first of all. So, you know, might be stylish, but it's not tactical, right? Yeah, so I get that. So I'd have full leathers. There's also a crash helmet in the shed. So I'd have that on. So I'd be pretty much covered. I don't know. I know why they don't do it in films, because it would ruin the film, because nobody get fucking bitten or whatever. But yeah, in real terms, I'd get all that. In terms of a sentimental item, I couldn't really think about this too much, but photo albums would probably be the best thing, because you're not going to be able to look on your phone or your computer for like pictures of people, and if you lose any of those people to like the zombies, you're probably going to want to be able to remember their face. So some photo albums would probably be a good sentimental item.
Can we clarify what kind of zombies we're talking about?
Slow.
Are we talking about,
Dead
I was going to say
zombies.
Not walking zombies, like there's walking,
not runners, not like 28 days later.
No. Okay,
not voodoo styling.
No, not Return of the Living Dead, where they can like talk into walkie-talkies at you and stuff and ask for more brains.
Not Evil Dead.
No.
Not
so like
Deadites.
Traditional George A. Romero zombies or Walking Dead zombies. So
yeah. Okay.
A person to help you survive. I think, to be fair, we're all going to pick the same person, because it's, you know, like the person we know is most practical, and that would be our brother Matt or whatever, who's basically one of those people who's actually useful and can do things like fix fucking your plumbing or your electrics, or, you know,
anything,
fix your car or whatever. He's actually, you know, can fix things or whatever. You need a computer building. I'm your man in the zombie apocalypse, but, you know, I don't think that's super practical. So, but yeah, so I think we'd all pick the same one. So I'd imagine we're all going to say the same thing for that. I thought also we could throw like a bonus question or a bonus person in, like someone unrealistic that you don't know, you're not going to be able to see or whatever. So I think I'd probably pick Ray Mears or whatever. If people don't know who that is, he's a bit like Bear Grylls or whatever. He's like, I was about to say the British version of Bear Grylls, but they're both British, so that doesn't make sense. But yeah, so I'd pick that or whatever. So they're my thoughts. So I'm going to throw it out to one of you, if you know what your ideas are. Weapons first.
Do you want to go?
I don't know. I think you should look at it in the way that most people aren't going to have weapons in the house, and what is useful.
I know they're not. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to have, you know, machetes or crossbows or whatever. You know, they might have like a hatchet or a axe if they're lucky. But, you know, a lot of people, like even like a sturdy table leg would probably in realistic terms, be more practical than a crossbow if you're not proficient with it. Because, like I said, you can only shoot a couple of minutes.
I mean, I'm thinking, go on.
If you think about, for example, where I work, there is nothing. There's absolutely nothing that you could.
You could throw shoes at them.
I could, but I think a good one is a sharpened screwdriver. Can't go wrong.
No,
Because the trouble with a large knife is that have you got the strength to actually push it through a skull?
Yeah, it's got a lot of surface area, hasn't it?
Yeah, difficult.
So.
No one's practiced, that's for sure. So
I was thinking,
keep it simple.
I was thinking more down like maybe like I'm sure we could find one quite close, maybe even matte or something.
Lightsaber,
crowbar.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
I think like a crowbar, you've got the length so that you don't have to get too close, like a screwdriver or something.
Do you know where there is one? Because that's kind of the point. Because you have to be able to access it within 12 hours.
Okay, I bet. I'm quite confident I could find one within 12 hours.
Yeah, but you're kind of betting on it. If this is your only choice.
Go and do it to do it. I think the fact of the matter is nobody would settle for just one. Let's have the lot.
Yeah, you would have a lot, but I'm just shooting for my proposition or whatever, if you will. So.
Well, I just thought a crowbar would come in handy, more than one use. Could like crack you into like locked stores and stuff for provisions.
All right, we're gonna go on. Vanessa's going on the hope that she's gonna find a crossbar, maybe.
I'm like 99% sure that I could find one. Like I'm fairly certain that Matt would have one, and if not, I've got a couple of friends that would more than likely, most nearly, definitely, potentially have one.
Maybe. Yeah. All right, then next onto your armor or clothing. We don't have armor realistically, so what snazzy dress are you going to be wearing killing the zombie apocalypse with?
You could dazzle them with sequins, that's an option.
It could be a distraction. Hit the sunlight.
You totally stole my idea, and maybe I have my leathers back. I'll tell you something that's...
All right, so I don't get them, I have to find something else, do I? Okay.
You've got a plan, you'll be fine.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you what's good. A nice armband, which you could probably fashion out of anything. If you have something covering your whole forearm, that gives you an awful lot of protection to block.
Yeah, they do something like that in one of them, don't they? Is it The Walking Dead? They wrap like not newspaper, because that wouldn't be very good, but like magazines. If they're doing something, maybe it's not that, with duct tape to their arms to like protect themselves. So.
Right, you could come up with almost anything that's tough.
Yeah.
But when you see people in the
it's like an attack dog, isn't it? You give them your arm so they're focused on that, and while they're doing that, you shiv them with a screwdriver.
What about, in that kind of sense, what about? I'm sure I've got some of them like old spiky like wristband things that from from a goth days and stuff. I'm sure they're coming quite handy. And some pretty
the spiky
beefy ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did have some like proper spiky ones like that would cause a lot of pain. So I think that'd be quite a good idea.
Yeah, but the zombies don't feel pain, do they?
Yeah, but like if they're long enough, they're gonna. Like, I don't know.
I suppose the thing is with the zombie apocalypse, though, it's always the humans that are more dangerous, isn't it, than the zombies? So they could be useful against bandits or whatever. Banditos.
Yeah, true. Quick.
I suppose they have that. Exactly, and if you've already whacked a couple of zombies, they've probably got zombie virus all over them. So, if you don't kill them straight away, it will turn them.
Yeah, at least like you'll get revenge even if you are like
Exactly, it's like a Final Fantasy game. You're like poisoning them or something. So
I like it.
Casting doom or something. So you're golden.
Gotta have good pair of sneaks on you though as well. Can't be like running around.
Yeah, that's true. Footwear. Yeah, you probably want.
What are you talking
boots
about?
Actually.
What are you talking about? There is no boot. If we're talking goth, better than the new rock boot.
True.
But
can you run in them? Can you run in them?
They're heavy, Vanessa, but they are acid proof. Who knows when that might come?
Acid proof.
They are plugged as acid proof.
Would you ever need an acid proof boot for unless you're playing Resident Evil 2?
Who's going to be sorry? Who's going to be sorry when you find that you need one and you don't have them?
Yeah, well, this is where like our situation is bad because like our shoe size is completely different. So there's no chance I'm going to be able to borrow like any of yours as usual. Maybe maybe we could try the high heel ones, but I don't think they'd be practical either.
I think I'll pass personally, but yeah, okay, cool.
I don't know,
Yeah,
if you sharpen the heels, they're solid steel stilettos.
Yeah, maybe.
I was just
If you get with your high kicks and whatnot.
Yeah.
Alright, as for the person, did I guess correct that we all picked the same person?
Yeah.
I think
Can't just be one.
no, we've got to think of something else. There's got we're all pretty screwed if we've only got
I should
one
have
person to rely on.
specified. No, I should have specified. Pretend we've already got our family in a, secure bunker or, in a fucking military encampment or whatever. So I should have specified that beforehand. Because obviously, if you're going to pick one person, you're not going to pick per se who's the best to survive or whatever. You're going to pick, whoever you feel dependent on and vice versa. So, but yeah, I'm presuming that they're all safe away somewhere else. But you get one person to stay with you to help you survive or whatever.
I don't know. Not you, V.
What?
I'd exclude all of us for, for the sake of, arguments. But yeah, if you
I've
want to
seen
throw
you
that
play
out
until dawn. I'm not picking you ever.
that is true. I've seen you watch Jeepers Creepers. So...
No. That is not fair. This is not where we get to bring out Vanessa's dark past. This is not okay.
It's not that dark. What, that you were scared of Jeepers Creepers? It's not that dark.
Just for the record, I jumped once, okay? And now this bonehead thinks that it's acceptable to bring it up 10 years later.
Yeah. Of course you did.
Just to
anyway, so onto the fictional person or whatever.
This is a hard one. So this is a fictional, as in they can be a character.
No, it doesn't have to be fictional. It can be you can have them fictional. They can be real. Fuck it, they can even be dead. Who cares? Anyone from reality fiction. You don't have to have access. Pretend you can bend time and space like Hiro Nakamura and get them and bring them in.
Okay.
If we're doing that rules, I might change it as well because In fact, I pick Hiro Nakamura so I can go back in time and stop the zombie apocalypse.
That's a good idea.
But yeah.
I would probably pick...
There's too many fine options.
I'm swaying...
Alright, do you want me to disqualify fiction?
I'd probably go for one of the Winchester brothers. They've got a car, full of ammunition, ridiculously amount.
They would be used to it all, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. It'd just be another day. So you just be well, you carry on doing you, and I'll just follow behind.
How would you cope?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll cower and, in the backseat of your Impala.
I'll get them to train me up or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Lou, any ideas?
I think it's worth mentioning Mr. Chuck Norris as well.
Yeah, that's a good point,
because
isn't it? Yeah.
If a zombie bites him, there's a good chance that they will turn into another Chuck Norris.
Oh my
yeah, that's a good point. He's the vaccine.
And so on and so forth.
You can always punch him from his chin as well. He's got that ability. So if one goes for his neck, he just punches. A fist comes out of his chin and knocks him out. So there's always that. So that's a pretty good call. I think we've been productive here. I think if it happens, we're golden. So
yeah, I'll just go find Dean Winchester's number. Yeah. Just hunt him down, just in case.
I think you just want to hook up with Dean Winchester. I think that's what this is all about. You don't even give a shit if he's there to help you.
Yeah, what's better than having someone who can protect you and who's someone who's good to look at? Win-win.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'd prefer to look at Dean Winchester than Chuck Norris.
You say that, but Chuck's a gentle lover, so, So
you're saying that you'd be persuaded by Chuck Norris knife?
Who wouldn't?
In any other circumstance, I'd say no, but for Chuck, maybe.
I'm not that surprised.
Alright, enough of that shenanigans. I think we'll leave that one there. We'll probably do a part 2 at some point where we, talk about our end game, about how we're on a space station in Mars or something, but yeah. Anywho, I think we'll move on to the next topic now. Okay, so topic 3 is the new rumours. There's been previous rumours before, but they seem to be, confounded or whatever. That's not the right word. What's the word? They seem to have been reiterated by other like companies and whatnot. So basically, the PlayStation 4.5 seems like it might be much more of a real thing. It's been dubbed the PlayStation 4K or whatever, it's like a nickname or whatever. And it's amidst the Xbox also talking about doing a similar thing, where they're talking about having like a point in the system's life or whatever. So whereas normally it was like Xbox 360 to Xbox One, there's this sort of interim console or whatever. And it seems like both manufacturers like want to take this sort of approach or whatever. First of all, what are your thoughts on it, and do you think it will be a real thing? So,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. I don't feel too positive about it, if I'm honest. I think that
I'm not stoked at all. When I heard about it, I was surprised how kind of angry it made me feel. I'm not 100% sure why. I know to a degree, but it kind of made me feel a little bit angry. Like, I think the thing that annoys me is that it seems like, first of all, they're dictating to us again, sort of like how the Xbox One did at launch, how you're going to have what we give you. We don't really, care what you think or whatever. And, it's game consoles are moving further and further away about what's good from a games console. So, like, for me, it's like I already have a PC that, like, dwarfs my PlayStation in power, in graphical power or whatever. But I still play on my PlayStation quite a lot because, I enjoy, the ease of use. I don't have to mess about with drivers. I like playing with a pad, So I do game on PC a bunch, and I even play with mouse and keyboard, like, sometimes. But, probably about half the time or whatever. But, I like a console for being a console, and it seems like they're getting more and more away from that. Plus, the PlayStation 4 is not even that old. I think it was released in fall of 2013, so that's not even 3 years. It's not. It's like 2.5 years or something.
That's what I thought. Like, I agree with you. Like, the first time that it got mentioned to me, I was a bit like, really? Like, I did feel that anger. But the thing that I think that, like, the first thing that comes to my head when I think about it is that I feel like they're being disloyal in a sense. Like, we're so loyal to, PlayStation and as fans, and they're just kind of trying to almost
squeeze you.
I think there's a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
Milk.
Yeah, basically, the financial.
I think there's a couple of reasons for this. I think what they're trying to do is one, it's because PlayStation VR is coming out. I think they're quite worried that it's not powerful enough, that the PlayStation 4 is not powerful enough. It might not be. So that's one reason why they're bringing it out. I think it's probably if they are going to bring it out, that's one of the reasons why they probably would. Another one is people always like moaning, like, the PC Master Race jokes or whatever, like going, oh, your game's only 900p or 30 frames per second or whatever. I think
that's so important, so terribly important. That's not what makes
like, for
a
me,
game. That's not what makes a game.
That whole, like, graphics don't make a game, but that whole argument of 900p to 1080p, I can't tell the fucking difference. Maybe if you've got like a massive screen that's like as big as your wall, then maybe you can notice the difference. But I can't tell the difference between 900p and 1080p. Who cares?
If it's a good game, then even if you could tell, like, even a bit, it doesn't matter, does it? Like, I'd rather have a good game with slightly worse graphics than vice versa.
Frame rate's way more important to me than resolution, personally. As long as it's got a stable frame rate. And personally, I'd rather have 60 frames over 30 frames. But I don't really care. It's like after an hour or even 2 hours, you forget that you're playing 30 frames, really. And then you just play the rest of the game and not think about it. I mean, it can be a little bit jarring if you go from a 60 frames per second game to a 30. But,
But surely shouldn't they have thought about this? Like, I mean, the PlayStation 4, like you said, probably not even been out like 3 years. If the VR, if they're worried about that and they're having to bring out a new console, shouldn't they have thought about this beforehand? Because I'm sure it's taken that idea has been in the works for quite a long time. So it's almost as if they've been slack.
Is if they like you were saying, they should have thought about this before. Let's say they thought, oh well, maybe we'll do a VR halfway through the cycle. We're not sure. Maybe we will, right? So what they should have done then is they should have made their system modular and made it upgradable. Yeah, but like simple, not complicated like a computer. Not that it's overtly complicated. You know, it's not that difficult. But you know, like with the hard drives, how you you unscrew one bolt, you know, you put in your hard drive, you screw it back up, you know, sort of job done to a degree. If it was a similar sort of process than that, you just pop over and open your cover, slide in a new graphics card, something like that. They should have thought of that, about that beforehand, you know, and not just leave people like, because you're gonna feel like even if all the games, you know, even if the games are produced for both systems and they're not split in that market. You know, with the games being on one thing and not being on the other, like with the 3DS, even if they manage to do that, you're always going to be like, well, I've got the inferior version. That sucks. Do you know what I mean?
My next worry is how much are they going to charge for it again? Are they going to charge the full price of the console? Because between the PlayStation 3 coming out and the PlayStation 4, it's been what? I don't know, you're looking at like 9 years, something? I don't know, something like that.
It will have to go back up. I think if they keep a lot of the components the same and literally just upgrade the graphics card, maybe a couple of other tweaks to like the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth thing or whatever, because I think that's a bit weak. But if they just do those sorts of tweaks, it won't cost the earth. But you're still looking at like...
I'm sorry, I don't want to spend another £300. Like only, you know...
Yeah.
That, even if it's, you know,
it'll be more than that. It'll be it'll be 400.
But will it be back up
for
to
me?
Like,
For me, if the only ways that they can make it sort of cool with me is if the next system is modular, because I'm not going to want to keep buying a fucking new PlayStation every 3 years, because that's the sort of thing you're going on. Why would I do that when I have a PC? I could upgrade my graphics card and it would be more powerful than whatever the new PlayStation is going to be. So if I'm just bothered about graphics, I'll just game exclusively on PC from now on. There's just no point in me. I'll give up the convenience and, like, you know, play... You know, you can play most games with a pad or whatever, but you are at a certain disadvantage. But I'll just get used to keyboard and mouse a bit more. I'm already used to it for a lot of games, so, you know, Twitch games I might struggle, but...
I don't think I could deal with the whole mouse and keyboard. I like having a pad in my hand. I like playing on a pad. I like...
A lot of games you can have, you know, have controller support or whatever, but you are at a disadvantage with certain things like Twitch shooters and stuff, and ones with complicated menu systems. But you know, I thought, you know, it's a bit of a bastard. What are your thoughts on it, Louie?
I don't know. You've run away with me a little bit. I think there's a lot of factors to it. I think it's entirely likely that, you know, you shell out for that and then they're using that as capital to fund the next console that's coming out. And before too
I don't
long,
think they need the capital, though.
I don't know.
I think it's really a weird thing to do, because like PlayStation 4 is selling like tremendously. It's nearly going to sell like projected figures as much as the PlayStation 2, which I think is their most successful system. I'm not sure, but
thing is,
I don't know why
never change, and they need to bring out the next big thing. And if you don't buy it, you're left behind.
But
I think they've got it in their mindset that, you know, it's like a phone. You know how people are willing to upgrade a phone every 2 years or something. I think they've got it in their mind that it's in the same sort of context as that. But the thing is, with the phone, it has so many, you know, applications, not literal, you know what I mean, not
versatile.
Actual apps. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's you know, it's useful for things where as a game console is pretty much only really useful for Netflix and playing games. Do you know what I mean?
And
I mean, they could change that and make it, but then again, that's what I'm saying. It's getting even further away from being a console.
Yeah.
You may as well just have a PC at that point if they make it have more utility. So
no, I agree with that, definitely.
It's like, you know, personally, it kind of annoys me to a point, but then you sort of get over it. I just think that the thing that really bothers me is this being a growing trend. If this is a one-off thing, I could maybe get over it, but I guarantee you, if it does become a thing, that you'll get down the road and games will stop being produced for it, because that happened with the 3DS, didn't it? When they split the you know, their market or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've just completely brain farted. But yeah, like
it wouldn't be the first.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's what I was going to basically say. It was just like also that you can't particularly get like PlayStation 4s on contract like your kind of phone. It's so much easier to just swap and change your phone than it is
yeah,
with a
that's
PlayStation.
a good point.
Like that's
like your
why
phones
it's so
are
easy
subsidised,
for people.
aren't they?
Like we have a phone in 2 years it upgrades, and we don't really have to pay anything for it. That's just
not up front.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe if it's like you're going for one of the big phones and stuff, but I don't want to be like having to fork out. And even if this is a one-time thing, I can probably I'd say I could predict that it might start out as a one-time thing, but it ain't going to stay that way. Other like companies are going to catch wind and stuff, and it's just going to be,
if they make money off it won't be a one-time thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the time will come though that it comes out, and they'll dangle a little piece of candy, and it'll be a game that you really want.
Yeah.
And you'll have no choice, and we'll all succumb. We'll all be shelling
that
out.
That is a genuine possibility.
We can bitch and we can moan, but like we'll still go and do it. Like they'll still exactly get the end.
Here's the
end game that they want.
I had a little thought on it.
The balls.
Oh yeah.
I had a thought on it that maybe what they'll do is they'll launch it or whatever and say, if you trade in your old PlayStation, you'll still have to pay for the new PlayStation, but for the trading of your old PlayStation, we'll give you a VR headset free. That might be a... Because if you think about it, then 20 million people will have a fucking VR headset. That's 20 million people that can buy games for a VR headset. That then gets all the development companies think, oh, there's profit in that. So I thought maybe that's a shrewd little business move they might do.
I think, I mean, it was kind of like, obviously, like I used to work for a game company. And that would be one of the big selling points, is that I really want this console. I haven't got the money. Oh wait, if I trade in, you can't. So that was nearly all the time that when we pitched that to like customers and stuff, they'd go, oh god, yeah, of course. And it could even just like, even if they don't give it for free, but they do like a massive discount. And that, I personally, I don't know, I think I'd be in some weird way more enticed to get one if it was low the price. If you're getting something for free, people might go, what's wrong with it to be getting it for free? But if it's discounted,
it's two birds, one stone. It gets everybody into VR, and then that person's already thinking, oh, I'm saving money or whatever, so they're more likely to buy this new system.
I think it'd probably pitch better than because if you get something free, you're gonna go, oh wow, can't be that good then, can it, if they're just giving it away? So yeah, I think it's a massive money game for them. And
it's weird though, because if they do that, like, they'd surely have to eat the cost of the PlayStation, because no one's going to be buying old PlayStations really if everybody's on the new kick. So I don't know whether they'd have to just eat that cost or whatever, but it might be a another plan, because they really are invested in VR. They're really trying to push that as the new thing or whatever, as the next thing. I think they were talking about it like they were saying that VR, they're thinking of it in the same mindset as how PlayStation 1 was, that that they think they're going to be doing this in 20 years from now. So yeah, exactly. So it might be, they might decide to just eat some of the cost on it just to get it out there so they can make profit on it later. But
do you reckon?
Anyhow, I thought it was a pretty... Oh, it definitely could backfire, couldn't it? They're making lots of money now on PlayStation 4s, and if they fuck this up, they're not going to be.
Well, my thing is, like, I feel annoyed that they're not being loyal to our loyalty. Do you know what I mean? So, do you think it could even push people towards Microsoft and the Xbox?
Well, I would say no, but that's from a Xbox One standpoint, because that seems to be so disenfranchised with them. But then if Xbox One do the same thing, they get a new bite of the cherry, and then they come at it from a more consumer-friendly sort of way, then maybe.
They're always
maybe it would...
chasing after one another's ankles, aren't they, those two?
Oh yeah,
they're always trying to...
Well, I like the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. The release, that was... wasn't it on the same day, or was it like within a couple of days of each other, wasn't it?
Yeah, they have to launch it about the same sort of time, really, because otherwise you're out of the thing, like how the Wii U was. You're sort of in the middle somewhere, and it's a bit of a weird place to be. But yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was a really cool topic or whatever. Well, not cool, but topic on the zeitgeist or whatever, so I thought it should be talked about. It kind of annoyed me a bit as well, but it could just be a fucking rumour. We don't know whether it's actually going to be real yet, but some of the rumours do seem more and more likely. So
well, you're hearing more and more about it. I've heard about it from like quite a few people now, so it's getting around.
Yeah, heard it from quite a few sources. So anywho, let's move on to the last topic. Right, on to topic 4, which hopefully will be the subscriber topic in the future or whatever. So leave your comments or whatever with ideas for topic 4. So anyway, so I was thinking 3 games from your like top 10 all-time list, not in any order, or I'm not saying like pick your 3 favourite games or whatever, but things that helped define you as a gamer, or things that helped you pick the sort of games that you're into now or whatever. So I figured I'll start again, soon as these are all topics I thought of or whatever. So one of them is Resident Evil 4. Yeah. I loved that game. It's amazing. I played that game over so many times, and it's definitely of its time, because I played it again recently, and the control system is kind of messed up or whatever. Well, not messed up, but it's like very clunky compared to like modern control systems or whatever. But they're remastering it soon, so hopefully they'll change the control system. That would be cool, and bring it more into line, like they did with that Resident Evil 1 that you were talking about, Leo.
Yeah, it was such a relief to lose the tank controls.
Yeah. I mean, the Resident Evil 4 doesn't have tank controls, but the thing with a knife, how you just stand stationary with a knife, and you slash, that feels a bit weird. And then even like the turning and stuff, it's all a little bit odd, but yeah, it's still a great game. It's still one of my favourite games. I always think back to that game. Like, if there's a game that's similar, I benchmark it against Resident Evil 4. So
yeah.
My next one is Megalomania. Not many people have heard of it. Tyrants Through Time. I know you played it a lot, Luke, because we played it a lot at the same time. It's an old Mega Drive game or whatever, and that game I've spent just so many hours. I think it speaks more to me about how I'm a megalomaniac, and that I just love, fucking controlling all these minions and making them do my bidding. So, but yeah, I think it's a really overrated game. It's got all sorts of like cool things. It's like the grandfather
overrated.
of,
Don't you mean underrated?
Underrated. Yeah. It's like the godfather of a lot of that sort of God Sim games, that it goes unnoticed. Not a lot of people know about it, so I fucking love that game. I think it's like awesome or whatever. And I always try and like get hold of a way to play it or whatever, every few years or whatever. So
I've just had to Google it, and I remember it now. It's cool.
I'll have to look it up on Steam, actually. I bet it's not there, but it would be cool if it was. But yeah, I thought that's really cool. And my next one, and like these sort of things all help me pick, the sort of games that I go into, that I'm into the future, because they've all got like similar sort of ideals behind them. And then the last one is Final Fantasy VII. That game like blew my mind when I first saw it. I remember when you were playing it, Lou. I remember I came up to your room or whatever, and you were playing. I was just like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was just like amazing how you were like roaming around the world, and then you go into these encounters. Like I'd played like super old school RPGs, but this was all like 3D and shiny and like just blew my mind or whatever.
That was exactly how it happened for me as well. I went around my friend's house and saw them playing it, and I remember the exact part they were playing when they were on the ship from Junon, and they're all dressed as sailors.
Yeah, was it? Yeah. That game
was. I thought, oh my god, what is this? I must possess it.
It was so. Could you imagine if the first part you ever saw was the Honeybee Club? Could you imagine how that would just? You'd be like, what is this? The Honeybee Club is just bizarre, but it's super cool. I hope that's in the remake, which
that's what everybody's banking on, though. That they don't lose the kookiness, because that's what will make or break them.
Yeah, the humour and stuff. I mean, it's going to have this weird Kingdom Hearts-esque style battle system by the looks of it. But I think I'm willing to give it a pass if everything else is okay. I'm not gonna bitch and moan about it or whatever. So, but I think that's cool. But I love that game. I wouldn't say I have like an exact memory of where everything was or whatever. But I have the exact picture in my head. Like it was just like basically roaming through, you know, some grass plains or whatever, and you know, I think it was going towards one of the towns. I think it was quite early on or whatever. What's that town? It's got like oh no, I'm getting confused with it. I was thinking it was like that town from Final Fantasy VIII, you know, the one where Zell's mum is, but I'm mixing the two up there. But yeah, anyway, I thought that game was super dope. Midgar's a bit of a bastard because it kind of drags on. I feel like being in Midgar for a while or whatever, and I feel that can be a bit of a point to entry for some people.
First time you play it, you're looking at a good 4 or 5 hours before you get out of the city.
I'd say it's more than that, probably.
Probably.
I'd say you're looking at about 8.
If you've played it before, though, you know where to hurry it up.
But Midgar was like, I think a lot of people leave it there and go, oh, it's rubbish. But like, I've still found it fun in Midgar, but like, it got really fun when you leave Midgar or whatever and just get out into the world and stuff and roam about and that. So I thought that's pretty cool. So yeah, so these are you know, games that like I'm super stoked for. Like I'm really hyped for the Final Fantasy VII remaster as well. What are your thoughts on the like remaster? Are you hyped for that or?
From little bits and pieces I've seen, it looks fantastic. I can't fully give myself over to the new battle systems, but
no, I'm not in love with it.
That said, even the worst Final Fantasy game, I've never met one I really didn't like. So
yeah, wow, 13 onwards is a bit of a struggle for me, but yeah.
I don't know. If you think about it that way, though, the worst Final Fantasy game is a lot better than an awful lot of other RPGs. So you know, I'm sorry.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll dislike that, but there'll be enough in it to enchant me and keep me playing.
I think if you feel like, oh wow, this is Midgar or whatever, I'm roaming around Midgar, and then you get another thing, oh, this is the airship, but you see it in all this shiny new, you know, Unreal graphics or whatever, and it's like fucking 1080p and it looks all nice and shiny. You might, you know, the nostalgia alone might pull you in or whatever. So.
And that said, is it gonna you know, pull in a brand new audience of people to love it?
I think that's why they changed the battle system, because you know, like a new audience is probably too like intimidated by you know, action time battle and menu systems and stuff. They probably want it a bit more immediate. So it's a slight shame for me that they're pandering towards that, but it probably costs a lot of money to make. I think an important
part of it will be if the materia setup is the same.
Yeah, materia was a really cool sell.
So I think like, if they work that in, then that will help an awful lot.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna know how the battle system's probably gonna work to about 70% of it, because it's probably going to be quite similar to 15. But yeah, I think you're right. Materia is like that was a really cool system, like compared to a lot of the others. So I think that's super cool. So yeah, anyway, V, what are your 3 games that you always think back to?
I'd have to definitely agree on Resident Evil 4, like massively, hands down.
Yeah,
that is one of the first games that like I binged. You know, like I had to play it all the time, and yeah, I can. Looking at the kind of games I like now, it's most definitely kind of shaped it in that sense on what I do like and what I kind of tend to go for. I almost feel like I have to almost kind of like compare as well. Do you know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
you know, I have to find games that are like Resident Evil 4 and that kind of stuff and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so, we don't have to, but you're sort of drawn to it.
Yeah, drawn to, definitely. Yeah, that's probably a better word.
I think the cool thing about that is it sort of changes to a degree the more and more you play it. Like the first time you play it, it's kind of scary. Like there's no doubt about it. It's like creepy, like, you know, watching the, you know, Las Plagas people out in the distance with their glowing eyes sort of roaming about and shaking and stuff. And I love the merchant. Hey, what are you buying, stranger? That dude's fucking awesome.
It's a funny thing though about Resident Evil 4, and that is Resident Evil 4 was a game changer, put them back in the race.
Yeah.
And yet somehow Resident Evil 5 and 6 have been a bit pants, really.
Oh, 6 was terrible. 5 was okay.
5 was okay,
but it's just
you think
it's an action game.
4 will set them rolling again, give them a whole new life, and actually 4 was great, and then it's kind of declined again. 5 was decent. 6 is awful.
I like the Leon section, but that's the only section I like. The other 2 bits were rubbish.
I liked the concept how like, they all kind of like chopped and like came back into like each of the stories and all that kind of stuff. That's something that I enjoyed about it anyway.
I thought it was. I didn't really like it, and plus it broke my PlayStation 3. So I had to trade it in and get another one. So that game, I swear, like it was just doing weird things. Didn't like the disc or whatever. It probably would have been fine digital, but you know, so that's pretty cool. What about any other games?
Now, Lou will know this one, and it's another PlayStation 2 one. Project Zero. It's not really a very. It's not a very.
I'm not familiar with this game.
It's
also
not a very
known as
popular one.
Fatal Frame in America.
Yeah, no, it did have another name, didn't it? I don't know. I loved it. I loved like the whole problem solving stuff. And I guess it's kind of shaped me in the sense that like it goes towards like the whole supernatural feel, which is quite a genre that I like in a lot of things, books, movies, blah blah blah. But it's just one game that I always, you know, reminisce with my friend about, and you know, can you remember, you know, sitting, you know, I think that was definitely a game that captured me. It's probably quite cheesy. In fact, no, I'll put my hands down and say it's a big ball of cheese. But
what sort of game was it? Is it like a survival horror or puzzle horror?
The problem with Project Zero is I think it started the whole set of games that make you feel terribly vulnerable.
Yes.
With Project Zero, your only weapon is the camera obscura.
Camera.
Oh, I know this. Yeah, I've played that game. I know what it is now.
Yes,
it just clicked to me.
You have a very old camera standing between you and the regions of darkness.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, scary.
It gets pretty like bad though. Like the storyline gets pretty dark. It's kind of creepy.
It's like games like Outlast and such. They're great and all, but I can't fully enjoy them unless I have.
You want to feel empowered, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't want to feel vulnerable. You want to feel like, oh, I'm this cool superhero and I'm this badass with a machine gun. No, I'm some fucking dweeby me with a camera, you know.
Yeah, I want to feel like I'm Leon.
Some spooky mansion.
Yeah, most definitely. No, I totally agree with that. But yeah, it's probably it's the first game that I ever played like that. But the next one, I'd probably say, now this is a game I've only played recently, but and it hasn't exactly. It's not. I mean, it's an amazing game. But it's The Last of Us. I know it's kind of along the same lines with like the infected and stuff. However,
don't put any spoilers out yet. Like I've not played it. I know I should have played it. I've got it. It's in the cellophane. So, but I will get around to it. It's supposed to be.
No, I won't do no spoilers. But I know, like I said, I know it's down to like infected again and like the whole, I guess, kind of zombie-esque feel. But it was. The things that I enjoyed most were actually the human fights and that kind of thing that you have to do. And there was quite a lot of that in the game. Sorry.
But you had to fight a lot of people instead of the zombie things.
Yeah, there's loads of like human fights and stuff, and like the whole like sneaking around and stuff. There's loads of zombie stuff too, and it gets kind of intense. But yeah, definitely I enjoyed the human side of it, and I almost forgot about that I was playing a game that had infected in it. So when I did come across them, I'd be like, oh god, what do I do again? So yeah, I really like that, but I can see that already it's drawing me to different kinds of games that I wouldn't have normally gone towards. So when I'm looking at games, it's definitely kind of pulled me more away from the kind of zombie scene and the supernatural scene, which I'm quite excited to see how that develops. Definitely.
That's a good point actually. Just as an FYI, the next month's PlayStation Plus is going to have that zombie game in it or whatever. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called like, it was on the Wii U or whatever, called like Zombie U, but it got modified and they made it so it works on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That's coming in PlayStation Plus next month, so awesome. That might be one to check out or whatever if you're into that sort of stuff.
Wicked. I'll probably
that's cool.
give that a go.
So, what sort of games, are you into, Lou, that you always think back to? I'd imagine there's some similar ones, some overlap there with what we just talked about.
There really is. Oh God, there's so many. So I won't claim to say they're my favourite games.
No, they don't have to be. That's what I'm saying. They don't have to be like, oh, this is my number 7, or whatever. It's just whatever is a big deal for you.
You've already talked about Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I love that whole set, basically. And I won't say too much about that, except that there's not many other games that you can just lose yourself in. You can always find something new.
I think it's the first game that really did that for me. That I was truly, that I thought, oh, this is more than just a game. This is more than like Sonic the Hedgehog or even Megalomania. It's like I'm invested in this world. Like, for me, that I thought that was like blew me away or whatever.
It was fantastic. So I won't say too much more about that. That's definitely on the list. It's hard. I have to think. I'll probably have to give a little nod to Zelda Ocarina of Time.
I've never played I've played a Zelda. I've obviously played Zelda games before, but I've never beaten a Zelda game, which is a shame. But I'm gonna fire up some emulators on my PC at some point. I'm definitely gonna play through one of those games.
And it's probably for the same reasons, to be honest. Zelda it has a world system a lot like Final Fantasy VII. Obviously, it's real time, but it is stuffed full of side quests and stuff to explore. It's one of the first sort of free roaming RPGs.
Yeah. Where you can, it's kind of going back to its roots, because I think the early Nintendo ones, I think the first one was like the first ever sort of, I'm not going to say the first ever, but a pioneer in free, open world and stuff. So.
But yeah, it feels a little different than the original Zeldas.
One of the things I remember about that game is I had a friend who was always playing it, and like he was into fishing. He was always going to this.
We borrowed his GameCube. Do you remember? We did a swap for a while.
Was it?
We borrowed it, and you never ended up playing it. I played it.
Oh, was it? Yeah. It would always fish. It would always go fishing in this pond. I think there was some sort of special fish or something you could get that, gave you a weapon or something. I don't know, like a golden fish or something. I don't know. I've not played it, but he was always fucking fishing. It was like he didn't play it to play the game. It's like he played it to fish. It was weird.
It's not the greatest part of the game, but very good still.
No.
I played it recently on 3DS again when it came back out, and I'd quite like to now pick up the Majora's Mask.
I've heard good things about that as well.
It's pretty
supposed
much
to be a lot darker,
system.
Isn't it?
Yeah, darker story. But I mean to replay that at some point too. Yeah, Zelda's excellent.
Any others? One more?
One more. Oh God. I have to say Fallout then, I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to be fair, what I've probably picked out is the ones that I've invested the most time in.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the way it is, isn't it? You like it, so you invest a lot of time in it.
But they're all huge games. Fallout is excellent. Fallout 3 is what I started playing.
Yeah.
And I
think the thing that's amazing about those
first-person shooter before, but it was the story element and the conversational element that got me hooked.
The conversations kind of took away from it a bit in the new one, isn't it? Which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit harder to have a long form conversation with them, isn't it? So.
I thought it was really neat as well if you chose a powerhouse character instead of a smart one. The way the conversation is manipulated. And you basically talk like an idiot.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
I've seen some playthroughs and stuff. I've never done it myself, but yeah.
Me not dumb, you dumb. It's exactly like that. It's ridiculous.
You speak like that. What's his name?
The totem.
What's he called from?
In Night at the Museum.
What's he called? Oh, right. Is it? I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking the super mutant from Fallout 4. But yeah, that seems about right. The totem.
So that gives it a whole new element. There's two different ways to play, but it'll crack you up when you're so thick.
Yeah, I think the discovery of those games is the thing that really does it for me. That's what I love about Fallout. Like, I was playing this Automatron DLC or whatever, and it's cool, but you're in the same map, and it's like, I know what's around every corner, and like, it's not the same as like, oh, what's around this corner, anything could be happening, or what's in this place, you know, something could be kicking off. So
with the Fallout 3 DLC, some of them are okay. I've played all of them and really enjoyed them. But the Point Lookout one stood out because it had a new map, it had a new storyline to it.
That's what the last DLC is going to be. It's going to be Far Harbor, and it's going to be,
right.
you know, on its own special like place or whatever. They're going to add it into the game, which will be cool. That'll be really good. Well, I hope it will anyway. So.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You almost. Well, I played it to death. I got the platinum on it.
Yeah, I got the platinum as well.
Although, to be fair, to get the platinum, you don't really need to go everywhere.
No,
you know, you don't need to do everything.
It's not an easy platinum, but it's not a difficult platinum either. But it's good. You do feel rewarding or whatever.
But I feel like I need a little rest from it before I go back in.
Yeah, it's probably honestly, real talk. I've not completed the. I can't remember how it's pronounced, whether it's Automatron or Automaton or whatever. But you could probably give it a pass from what I've played so far. I'm not sure how far through I am, but you probably give it a pass and you'd be all right or whatever, and just get the Far Harbor thing. I mean, if you're really into it, I bought the season pass because, you know, the price was dropping it or going up or whatever, and I wanted to get it. So, but yeah, so it's cool, but it's not blown me away with anything. I don't feel the same as I did when I was first playing Fallout 4 from start to finish. So
I liked Fallout 4, but it didn't quite grab me in the same way. It was great. It was a fantastic game, but I still felt a little bit like something was missing.
It definitely had some issues. Like I still like, I hate. I mean, this is from the old ones, but I hated being over encumbered, and the conversation system felt a bit lacking for me. Oh, and the fucking AI, your companion AI, they're so dumb.
Yeah, they caused
always getting you into trouble, aren't they?
Even in 3, they had characters who were very good at stealth, probably with Boone being the best of them. That was Fallout Vegas. Yeah. But you play stealthy, they will copy you. And in this one, I had real trouble with them.
Stealth is a problem. You can't really do it. Yeah. I had a lot of problem with stealth. I don't know if the characters are any way different, but for some reason Piper seemed to be a little bit more well behaved than a lot of the others. I don't know if that's just a circumstantial thing.
A little bit. But yeah, the over encumbered thing too. Oh, you can't carry anymore, but your small dog can.
Yeah. It's annoying. Like I don't want to be playing a logistics game. I want to be, you know, fucking. I don't want that to tie me down. Like I thought, oh, I know, I'll just max out my strong back perk or whatever. Sure, you can fast travel now, so that means you can just offload all your crap, and you can run, but it gains your action points. So it's a trade-off, but it's not what you want. If you're playing on PC, you can type in console commands and just get rid of it. But
the problem with that is it's the same as Skyrim. It'll only get you if it's your personality to pick up every little piece of junk you see.
Yeah, but this game encourages you to do it, though, don't it?
Yeah,
and that is I'm a treasure. I'm a hoarder. I love it in games.
You're right for the building.
Yeah.
For the building materials.
But yeah. So I just thought that'd be a cool topic or whatever. It's like, you know, games that help define the sort of things that you're into or whatever. Now, so I just thought it'd be a cool topic. Okay, so we shall leave it there. That was our first ever podcast wrapped up. Keep in mind this was a pilot and things are subject to change as we're just trying to find our feet with it all. Admittedly, we were a tad nervous, and as it turns out, recording a podcast is not as easy as you might think. Well, at least for me anyway. As having to be the host and read bullet points and keeping things going, I tended to use a lot of filler words, for example, like and whatnot. So, something I'll have to try and improve on. Anywho, I'd love to hear some feedback on things like the topics, the commentary, and general production and so on. And don't forget to hit me up with your topic ideas in the comments. So that just leaves me to say, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe for more BS of a similar nature. Thank you and goodbye.